People just want to be outraged for the sake of being outraged.
Surprisingly agreeable unpopular opinions.
People hate being told they have any control over their problems. I have ADHD and scoliosis. Anytime I comment anything about my experience with addressing either of these problems in support groups which suggests that my own effort and willpower has helped, people pounce on me. I'm not anti-medicine. I take medication for my ADHD, for instance. But the second I say anything outside of medicine, surgery, or relegating myself to my unfair fate, people jump to, "I'm sorry, are you a doctor? Stop giving medical advice." And it's like, okay, but doctors also recommend diet, exercise and self-discipline, so, like. Also, many of these people don't trust medical advice anyway. Often with good reason, but still. Somebody replied, "Some people like feeling as if their ailments are completely out of their hands." I don't know the best way to put it, but it's almost like they use it as an out, when they need it. I suppose a bit like a crutch. My brother is a diabetic. Because of this he says he can't travel, can't work out, lifting or cardio, and will often stay depressed about it instead of trying to put in the work to make his situation better for himself. He uses it as a crutch to not ever put in any work for his own betterment. I realize my story is anecdotal, but I have noticed a trend in people where they often prefer to justify each other's bad decisions to help them ignore their own. Wind turbines look really cool and don't make the countryside look ugly. Now, I don't mean putting 1,000 in one field sort of thing. But having wind turbines along fields in the countryside makes it look futuristic, and I don't think they look ugly at all. Now I know they are very loud. I am not talking about that, just the look of them. The countryside looks beautiful with or without them. I really don't see why everyone gets their knickers in a twist over them. Unless you live next to it, then fair enough. If I found a large sum of money, I wouldn't return it or turn it in. I'd consider it a gift from the universe. If I were walking somewhere and happened upon some random cash, I wouldn't try to find the owner or turn it in. If I found inheritance money in a thrift store purse, I wouldn't tell the store, or anyone else besides my husband. I doubt most places actually try to find the owners, and the money ends up being kept by whoever you turned it over to, so why not just keep it? Every kind of underwater animal tastes horrible. Fish, lobsters, crabs, octopus, literally anything consumable you find underwater tastes nasty to me. First of all, they always smell very pungent, cooked or raw. Furthermore, it's the same weird jelly, if raw, or flaky texture followed by an extremely dubious aftertaste. Plus your mouth smells after eating them, and the smell remains for a few hours. I genuinely feel like fish is overhyped. Everyone gets offended at me for not liking it and insists on me trying it. The truth is, I try it all the time, hoping that I'll magically like the taste and texture. However, it's been the same for my whole life, and I simply cannot for the life of me understand people who are obsessed with fish, lobster, crab and shrimp, literally anything from the water. Like, yeah, I get the healthy benefits, but it tastes and smells nasty as all hell. With 90% of jobs in the world, being late does not matter in the slightest until you start to hit 10+ minutes. This is hard for me to change my mind on. I've worked in retail, administration, construction, and sales. I have never once been in a position where being 5 minutes late affected the work day in any meaningful way whatsoever. Only managers that want to throw a fit about it and actually waste time. Sure, you could say it shows integrity, but when I finish my work at the same time as the guy who always comes in 5 minutes early, and there is no dip in quality or service, it is a completely irrelevant thing. Really try to think of a time you got to work 5 minutes late, and thought, damn, this day would have been so much easier had I gotten here 5 minutes earlier. Unless you're in some high stress management position or literally unlock the doors in the morning, it has never mattered. 99% of the time, there is absolutely no excuse for being late. I don't care what it's for. Whether it's your job or lunch, you need to be on time if you've made a commitment. It's so selfish and disrespectful to everyone around you. The idea that it is considered healthy to forgive someone in order to move on is completely wrong. Obviously, everyone has their own process to deal with trauma, and that's okay. And yes, Forgiveness is important for genuine mistakes. I'm talking about when someone burns you bad, steals, cheats, abuses, causes bodily harm, mentally hurts you, or is just terrible in general. That person made a decision to do that to you. And people say forgive and forget? Sorry, but no. Embrace the feeling of what they put you through, rage, safely, and do what you need to do to process it in a healthy way so that you can move forward. But don't forgive them, cut them from your life, let go of the anger, go to therapy if you need to. I feel it's unhealthy to forgive someone who treated you like poop. And much more healthy to process, accept, learn, and then move on. There was a video of a corner shop in Las Vegas getting robbed and the clerk stabbed the robber. The people who are mad at the clerk are too sheltered and don't understand what it's like to be in a scary situation. It's too easy to Monday morning quarterback, but the reality is you cannot hold people in scary, violent situations to unrealistic standards. You watch the video, you know the outcome. The clerk living it did not. He found himself cornered by strangers in masks and one of them jumped the only obstacle between him and them. That's terrifying, and he responded by protecting himself. Somebody replied, "People always seem to do this and it annoys the hell out of me." A few years ago in my country, some nut job went and beat up a shop clerk, then started walking around the street with a machete. Armed police showed up, not the norm here, and then he lunged at one of them, and ended up being shot. Then people were outraged? I don't get it. If you lunge with a blade at someone who has a gun, it's literally Darwinism. People just want to be outraged for the sake of being outraged. Get real. Popcorn tastes best when it is soaked in water. Whenever I make popcorn at home, I hold the bowl under my sink and wet it before eating. I like seeing all the popcorn shrivel up and get super soft. It tastes a lot better that way. The celebration of robbers getting attacked that is cultured online, and in real life, is abhorrent. I apologize if this comes across as a rant, but I feel like it needs to be said. I see people doing this online and I can't help but think about how it's just a testament to how messed up our society is. Seeing a robber or burglar get shot isn't something I'll pity too much, especially if they threatened to hurt someone or actually did hurt someone. But for Pete's sake, people really just sit there on the internet and get a high over seeing people get mutilated and killed to satisfy some kind of justice sense? It's like people's lives that you see on the screen are played out as some kind of Thunderdome? Robbery is bad, I get it. I personally think it's a sign of a broken society if it's commonplace, where young men and women think it's better to get by in such a way, whether it be easier or somehow more exhilarating or whatever mostly flawed reasoning they have. But just saying robbers' lives don't matter, and then pumping your fists in the air to another post of some kid stealing from a convenience store and getting attacked by a vigilante will help absolutely no one. Piercing a baby's ears should be against the law. My friend recently got her 1-year-old's ears pierced. I'm not against children getting them, assuming the child can verbally say out loud, "I want my ears pierced." I did, when I was 8 and wanted piercings. But a baby? Seriously? Not only is it probably a choke hazard if the earrings were to become loose, but it's wildly inappropriate. It's an unnecessary and permanent body modification, and something that the kid will have to live with forever whether or not they actually want it. And then sometimes parents don't treat the ears right and babies' ears get infected. Again, I think if the kid can indicate that they want it pierced when they're a bit older, fine, but I don't think it should be legal to pierce a baby's ear under, say, 5 years old. Somebody replied, "I developed an awful allergic reaction to the cheap studs they put in, plus it was infected from the gun they used." I remember being about 6 years old and crying in pain with a fever, and my parents were out for the evening. I was begging my older brother to just take them out. He couldn't get them undone, so he used some dirty old pliers and just yanked as hard as he could. Traumatic childhood experience for sure. Then my parents were mad because of the wasted money. European people need to stop assuming every comment they don't like was written by an American. For a continent that loves to complain about Americans thinking everyone who posts on the internet is American, European people sure do love to assume every hot take, extreme take, indifferent take or straight up idiotic take was written by an American. On a daily basis, European people have to be corrected for assuming a commenter who commented something they don't like is American and therefore go on a typical American rant or comment "tell me you're American" without telling me you're American. Before any of you mention "well that's because most people commenting a hot take are American," just know my response will be "well that's because most people on here are American," which is something European people say shouldn't matter when they complain about how Americanized this site is. If European people feel that close to half of this site being American isn't an excuse for Americans to assume every user is American, then Americans accounting for most hot takes isn't an excuse for European people to assume that everyone commenting a hot take is American. Where I come from, we call that practicing what you preach, or, as the Youngjans say, keep that same energy. I hate dolphins so much. They are demons. They will kill for sport without a second thought. Oh, I found a baby seals, let me torture it to death then no eat it. Like what? They are also drug addicts. Some species of dolphin are immune to pufferfish venom and get high of it by intentionally getting stung over and over, usually by hitting the fish with their nose hard, eventually resulting in the pufferfish's death. I hate seeing people treat them like saints and wonderful creatures. That's like having a crush on a serial killer. Then sharks are made out to be evil, even though they kill less humans than vending machines. There are even species of sharks that act like dogs, for example the lemon shark. The only sharks that really try to kill humans are bull sharks and tiger sharks. Dolphins are like if humans were aquatic and had no morals. Thank you for making it to the end. You are the ones I make these videos for. Subscribe to the channel to raise awareness about dolphins, and I'll see you tomorrow for another daily video.